The restaurant was softly lit, the clink of glasses and murmured conversations forming a warm backdrop for our 10th wedding anniversary. I had booked the corner table for privacy, imagining a night of laughter and reminiscence with my wife, Claire. Everything felt perfect: the soft candlelight, the carefully chosen wine, the music playing just low enough to hear each other speak. I excused myself to use the restroom, expecting nothing more than a brief pause before returning to celebration. But in that few moments, the world shifted in ways I could never have anticipated. When I returned, my steps slowed, a chill creeping up my spine. Across the table, Claire was leaning towards someone I didn't expect: our neighbor, Mark, a man we had seen socially but never considered anything more than friendly. My heart sank as I froze mid-step. The scene was undeniable. Claire's lips pressed against his, a soft, intimate kiss. The music, the laughter, the ambient warmth, all of it evaporated. I stood silently, gripping the edge of the chair for support, feeling the room compress into a terrifying bubble of betrayal. No one at the table had noticed yet. Nearby diners were oblivious, caught up in their own conversations. I debated shouting, confronting, exposing the act publicly, but my mind raced faster than my emotions. I could see the panic flash in Claire's eyes as she noticed me standing there. Her face drained of color. Mark pulled back instantly, eyes wide with fear. I stayed silent, letting the tension stretch like a taut wire. The longer I remained still, the more every second magnified their guilt and my shock. I slid into my chair calmly, masking the turmoil roiling inside me. Claire stammered, trying to explain, but her words faltered mid-air. The calm I maintained only intensified the suspense. I glanced at Mark, who avoided my gaze completely. My mind catalogued every detail: the angle of her head, the way her hand lingered, the subtle trembling of her lips. This wasn't just a stolen kiss, it was a revelation, a window into months of deception I hadn't yet fully grasped. I reached under the table, fingers brushing my phone. A subtle tap, a pre-written message, and the entire sequence, the evidence of secret messages, hidden meetups, and incriminating photographs, was ready to be sent to a trusted friend outside the restaurant. I let Claire's panic build, prolonging the suspense. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I simply smiled faintly, allowing the gravity of the moment to unfold naturally. My calm was louder than anger, sharper than confrontation. Claire tried to explain, stammering about a misunderstanding, about Mark being a friend, but my calm observation pierced every lie. I let my silence speak volumes. Nearby diners, now sensing a strange tension, began to glance over, curious but unsure. The room was alive with unspoken anticipation. I projected authority not through voice, but through presence. Every heartbeat, every glance between us carried suspense, waiting for the moment that would irrevocably shift the evening. Then I leaned forward, voice soft but deliberate. "Claire," I said, "I think it's time we were completely honest, not just with ourselves, but with everyone who is part of our lives." I let the words linger. She paled further. Mark's eyes widened. My calm had transformed into a silent blade, cutting through pretense, exposing truths they had hoped would remain hidden. The suspense wasn't just my reaction. It was the certainty that their carefully constructed illusion was crumbling. I tapped my phone discreetly, sending the prepared evidence to a friend who had been monitoring the situation at our request. Within minutes, confirmation arrived. They had seen everything. The tables were turning, but I didn't need to act loudly. Claire's expression crumbled as reality hit. The calm, precise method of exposure was far more devastating than a public argument. Around us, nearby diners sensed the tension, whispers beginning to form as the unspoken drama radiated outward. After a few moments of carefully measured silence, I stood, folding my napkin slowly, signaling the end of this celebration. Claire opened her mouth, trying one last explanation, but I raised my hand, a soft but firm gesture of authority. The room had witnessed nothing explicit, yet everything had shifted. The calmness of my presence, the careful timing, and the strategic use of evidence left Claire and Mark exposed, humiliated in ways words could never fully convey. Weeks later, Claire and Mark had vanished from my life, their presence replaced by the stark reality of consequences. Friends and family, once oblivious, now whispered about the evening that changed everything. I had remained calm, calculated, and precise, turning what could have been a disaster into a masterful revelation. That night taught me the power of patience, the impact of timing, and the devastating strength of silence. A single moment of calm, in the right hands, can shatter illusions and alter lives forever.